Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Talking Cubs. We are talking about opening day and Javier Baez today. Sean is joining me in just a moment. We're talking Javi Baez home runs. Christian Yelich homered earlier in the day, and Javi just absolutely had to upstage him, I think. Sean, did you get to see the Javi Baez home runs, or were you working when it was all going on?
Sadly, I was stuck working, so I didn't get to see it. But I saw both replays. Obviously, that first home run, I mean, that was definitely a ball that he hit out. I don't know how he hit it as hard as he did, but God, he just annihilates baseball sometimes, man.
Yeah, that first one, I was listening on the radio because I was working, and yeah, they kind of described it a little bit, but Javi Baez, going out of the zone to get a ball, and I think Ron Coomer just said that he just kind of let it fly on that ball, which could mean a million different things. But yeah, the when I finally saw an actual replay of that swing and where the pitch was, like, what's Mike Minor thinking at that point? Like, what? I've got him down 0-2 and I'm doing a waist pitch, throwing a breaking ball, low and outside the zone, and Baez just like bends over at the waist and gets it out of the ballpark. Like, they tip your hat, I guess. There's nothing you can do about that.
Yeah, I mean, especially like he pulled it. He pulled the ball to the left side of the plate into right field or left field. Like, it was just like everyone. I mean, conventional baseball wisdom tells you probably lay off that pitch or go the other way with it. Javi's like, nah, I'll just one arm it out of the park because I'm Javier Baez and rules don't apply to me.
Right.
But yeah. It was great to see him do that. Obviously, the two home runs, that second home run, obviously he got behind it and just got the barrel of the bat on the ball and really just pushed it out of the park. If Javi's going to do that every game, obviously that'll probably solidify MVP season for him. But
yeah, I would think if he hit 328 home runs, doing the math real quick, somewhere around there. I think if he did that would probably solidify an MVP. But yeah, if I would like to, if I may, for a moment, overreact flamboyantly about opening day and small sample sizes.
Please do.
It felt like, just listening to the radio, and maybe it was like probably 99 internally, just me. The way the Cubs, Lester gave up the 2-run homer, and they were down, like they were just like grounding out quickly, and Mike Minor wasn't throwing a ton of pitches or anything. It felt very much like a second half Cubs game from last year, like offensively through the first like 3.5 innings. So at that point I wasn't, like sweating or anything, but it was kind of just like, are they going to throw out one of those classic stinkers where they don't score? And then the Baez home run with 2 outs in that 4th inning, that one really just kind of seemed to open the floodgates for the following inning. And then up 4-2, Baez comes up to the plate with 2 outs. It's a 3-run homer that put the game out of reach. So, I mean, this was really just, overall, the offense scored 12 runs and everybody kind of pitched in, which was great to see. There's way more notes on the offense than we could go through in just one video. But Baez, man, he was really just the hero of the day by far and away. It was Javi Baez kind of won that game for the Cubs, I think. So that was really cool to see him, after all the questions about whether he's going to regress. And I think that, again, it's just one game. It's still a lot of debate about how much he could regress this year, but to see him come out and have 4 RBI and 2 home runs, and one of them was, like going to bounce in the left-handed batter's box. Yeah, it was just a phenomenal opening day.
Right. It's good to see Javi locked in to start. Obviously, I think everyone but Wilson Contreras in the starting lineup got a hit today, including even some of the pinch hitters. I know Schwarber got a hit once he came in for Zagunis later in that game. But like you were saying, the offense looked great, but Javier Baez kind of got it all started because, like you were saying, coming in 4 innings, it looked like Cubs are going up and down and pushing balls in the dirt. And then when Baez comes up to bat and clubs that solo shot, it just kind of brought everything together here. But it's nice to see at least Baez getting guys in front of him. When the Cubs get guys on base, obviously when you get Baez, Rizzo, Bryant, and those guys coming in 2 through 4 with runners on, it's huge. It's a huge difference for the Cubs, simply just because if the ball leaves the park, you're scoring more runs. I know that's pretty obvious, but it didn't happen a lot last year. So it was great to see the Cubs kind of rally around Baez, kind of picking the offense up and then not letting it go. And obviously putting up a 12 spot is never a bad thing. So.
Yeah, before we finish this up, this is something we didn't really get to do or haven't done on the show yet, but I kind of wanted to play some over under at some point leading into the season. Now, obviously, it's a little late, but I was thinking on over under for Baez. He had 34 home runs last year. He's already got 2 this year. So my over under was going to be 32. So do you think he hits 30 or more home runs the rest of the season, or do you think he falls short of that 32 spot?
Well, I mean, if he doesn't hit 300 plus home runs this year, it's probably a disappointment. So, I mean, how do you step your game up? No, I think, man, that's a really good question, because 32 is a really good number. Obviously, he hit 34. I would love to say the over, but I feel like 28 to 30 is about where Javier Baez probably sits at. Just especially if he's going to be able to hit balls out of the zone, out of the park. I think people are going to start pitching a little more cautiously. That being said, he'll probably strike out 3 times on breaking balls tomorrow, and everyone will be like, "Oh, that's right, he's Javier Baez." So it is what it is. But yeah, I would probably pick the under.
Yeah, I'll be optimistic and say the over. I think he's going to have another great season, and like I said, 32. He's only 30 away from it. So
there you go.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, he's got a really good jump start on the season. As far as RBI, I think he had 111 last year.
Yes.
That's obviously a very situational thing, but he's going to be behind Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo in the lineup. So I'll set the over under at 105. Does he go over that?
I think so. I really do. If both Rizzo and Bryant are healthy, I think the way the lineup was constructed today, obviously you've got Albert Almora leading off, and he still gets on. He doesn't get on base as much as you might like, but he has a really solid BABIP, so he's always kind of getting himself on base just through hitting. And then with Bodie batting 9th, if that's how they're going to construct it in the regular season, even having that pitcher batting 8th, I think he's going to have a lot of opportunities to put runners on base, because we got Rizzo and Bryant, obviously 2 lead on base guys. If you get one more of those guys, or the bottom of the lineup rolls over to the top, I mean, I think he's going to have a lot of opportunities to hit with runners on. And I think the 4 or 5 holes is about perfect for Baez right now with the way he's swinging the bat.
Yeah, I agree with that. I like him batting 4th quite a bit. And this is something I tweeted earlier today and got a lot of reaction from. Can you imagine what it would be like to have Chris Bryant returning to form, healthy, back in the lineup, with Anthony Rizzo doing his normal thing, and also runner-up MVP Javi Baez in the lineup? That's 3 absolute star, top of the line bats, whereas most of the last several years they basically just had 2 at any one given time. So, man,
I know
that would be.
I know, it's scary. and then you factor in like Wilson Contreras, if he's bouncing back, if Schwarber's in the lineup and hitting well. Zobrist, obviously, I think he was 5th or 6th in that lineup today. Him behind Javier Baez, I like that too, because that gives him a little bit of protection too, kind of like what they do with when Rizzo, and usually they try and stagger Zobrist behind Rizzo. But I like that. I think it forces you to pitch to Baez, and I think there's the ceiling, the sky is the limit for Baez. The ceiling is the roof, whatever the saying is. The dude has limitless potential, and he's just so much fun to watch.
The ceiling is the roof.
Yeah,
I agree. Well, let us know what you guys thought of Javi Baez's big performance on opening day, and where you think he's going to end up this season. Go down to the comments below. Give us a thought. Send along an idea. Give us a like. Click the subscribe button. Do all those things, and we will talk to you again soon.